Morning here in Camp Massatators, where it's even more hot, even more sweaty, and the forecast is even more miserably hot and even less cloudy today. So yay!
Good thing we've only got like 5 more days left, because if you keep getting more and more negative at this rate, it's gonna go south fast.
It's been going south this entire time, technically. So despite what Miss Soggy Sunshine over there says, this is not the most pleasant. She ends up at night sitting there and going, also. Plan for today is to set up for New Orleans. There is one spot in New Orleans proper, Algiers Point, I believe it is, that is safe for camping. And we had thought about trying to make there, but it just really doesn't work. We're making 45 miles a day, but it's hard to do much more than that with the current and how much care we have to take crossing back and forth around every point to avoid the ships. So we will set up at another camp like this, and then New Orleans will be tomorrow. And then after New Orleans, it's, I believe, 94 miles to head of passes, and then it's another 13-ish to the end of South Pass, which is our goal. That's where Port Eads and some other things are, and then we'll come back to Venice, and Venice is our exit point. As much as we do love our canoe, we don't have the sort of lifestyle that supports having 17-foot pieces of Kevlar lying around, so we have listed it for sale on Facebook Marketplace.
Aww.
If you want to keep it, you should have let me pay the extra for the green one, then I would be more in favor of it. We do really like this boat. It has worked great for us. We are super happy with our decision to get it, and I would highly recommend this one versus some of what I've seen people paddling in. Having a 40-pound boat versus a 70, something like one of the old towns we've used on our previous trips, doesn't seem like that much in the water, but the moment you have to get that thing out at the end of the day or any of the portages, it is night and day. And we have done our share of portages on this trip. One of the surprising challenges the last couple of days has actually been not running into fishermen when I run back from the beach to dig a cat hole. This spot was pretty nice for us. We had the usual amount of tow traffic in the distance, and even a train, but nice camping. We are going to be straight back to the barges today. We have been debating whether we wanted to potentially take another hotel night before the end or just push through, and we're not quite sure. Honestly, the hassle of having to take the boat out and deal with that is somewhat high, but it is kind of wearying day after day with all the sweat, sand, etc. And we got our friend the mayflies back. Oh, now you've done it. You've pissed off the orgy, Jen. Blondie, we could start paddling or we could start workshopping. I'm thinking Matt seal of approval. Boobs, nachos, coffee.
No mustard?
Ooh. One boob covered in mustard, one in beer. Coffee, nachos. Good job, workshopping. 6:30, we're slipping a little on the time in the morning just due to kind of general misery around the sand and the warmth. And we're not trying to make massive miles. So we actually have a camp in 45 miles. We need to stop there. We're not going to be able to go just as far as we want till at least New Orleans, and we may have to have a better plan for the rest of it here. We have a plan as far as the pickup in Venice after we get out to head of passes, South Pass, and then back. Everything before that is a little loose. It kind of depends on the weather, if the thunderstorms that are on the forecast appear, and also just, you know, how far we make it, how fast progress can be, because we're expecting flow just goes down and down the further out we go. Taters was just really bummed because it turned out we were less than a quarter of a mile away from a porta potty. And chairs. I'm more interested in the chairs. And barges for days. And looks like we got another gator here. So the funny thing is, we were just talking about how down here where there are obviously less paddlecraft, the tows have gotten really, really supportive. We keep having people yell over and cheer for us. Well, that's first. We normally get misidentified as a kayak. That guy actually called us a rowboat. And we are seeing gators here and there. Just two little guys. Double Somali pirating. I'm the flamboyant pirate.
It's about time you put yours on.
I don't know how long it's gonna last. My head's too damn big. Per the very, very detailed River Gator website, the orange coloration is actually from aluminum oxide dust. I just like the scale of that shot, the oil liner versus the tow. So as a general rule, we like to stay way out in the channel and make sure people can see us and stay clear. We do have to adapt to situations though, and it got busy enough here, we figured behind these individual little islands is going to be the safest. And we keep trying to make sure the people on the individual tows see us as much as possible. We did call out a while back on the radio and never got a response. And we just tapped out for the first time in a while. It's 11:38 and it is just hot. And there's not a lot of protection out there in between the barges, so we found a spot. We're just gonna hang out here and wait. And here stands Jen, who's so bad at sitting still in the heat. She is going to march off for a mile.
There's this town called Edgard. And I really want to get a feel for more of, rural Louisiana out here. I don't really feel like I'm getting to experience it from the river.
Blondie has acquired the magical substance, ice. Oh. And she's only a little delirious from the heat. It's all good. Wow, that is still a very, I love your finger tan.
Yeah, I think it might have got worse than the last day.
I think Tater's might be broken. She just periodically keeps moaning about the heat and giggling, but in a very heat-depressed way.
That walk out to the store was totally worth it to get cold drinks and ice for a break. And it was a pretty nice walk. Got to walk up on the levee road, see a little bit of the land side of things down here. But it was really, really brutal heat. The way there wasn't too bad, but the way back, it's about a 20-minute walk. And I think that is the first time that I felt borderline unsafe in the heat. When it got to about 5 minutes before I got back here, I knew I could make it about 5 minutes back to the shade, but if it was any more than that, I mean, I was feeling pretty lightheaded and shaky. It's a little bit after 4. Still very, very hot, but at least the sun is past its worst angle. So we are getting ready to get back on the water.
4:30, we are back on the water. Both of us are doing a little bit worse for the wear due to the heat. And that is why we stay out of their way. The water we're sailing through is actually hot to the touch here. Also, probably shouldn't have touched it, but. We are currently in a very busy area, but we are told there is a sandbar back here somewhere we can go. And that bridge was apparently the site of the biggest, most fatalities due to a ferry crash years ago. A little bedraggled.
I am Feeling very bedraggled. This is the toughest day since Big Winnie.
I don't know about that. The first Big Winnie or the second Big Winnie?
Second Big Winnie.
Ah. And we found a sandbar thanks to River Gator. We can make something work. And it is a busy little night out here tonight. Wow, I do look like some sort of a tourist, especially with the undershirt. Anyway, we basically thought we were going to make it a little further. That siesta we had to do delayed us a little bit, so we're only around 123 instead of further. So still plan is to make it into New Orleans tomorrow. We don't know if we're actually going to make it through or not. We may end up camping at Algiers Point in New Orleans. And if you wonder why we set way up back on the beach, not only are we paranoid about water level changes, but yeah, just all the waves.
So, you're supposed to support me here. You're supporting me because I'm so tired. So a lot of the earlier days on the upper Mississippi section, we just got described as just total zen. Could just really get in the mood, lose yourself, and before you knew it, you had done 300 strokes, just enjoying the moment on the river.
Wasn't that the Stephen King-like horror, as somebody said in a comment?
Okay, that was the first night, just one night.
No.
Anyway.
Joe's testicle cancer.
Today, total opposite of zen. You had to be paying attention every moment. There was tons of traffic. There were endless fleets of barges. How many barges do you think we saw today?
I don't know, but I saw you take like a 4-hour nap.
3,000 is my guess.
She hasn't busted into the line yet. Can you believe that?
There were so many. And it was so hot. I've never been affected by the heat like
not
this.
Not sexy hot. It's not sand.
So we had a schedule for trying to meet someone in New Orleans. That schedule is now off due to the heat. And so we...
Heat in the south?
Fortunately, we're able to get a camp that is between the endless fleets of barges. And that gives us about 30 miles to do into New Orleans tomorrow. So we should still be able to get in tomorrow, just a little bit later than we initially expected to.
Or we could start in the dark and just play...
We cannot.
Is that an oil tanker coming towards us?
Oh my gosh, we cannot paddle in the dark out here. No way, no question about that.
Come on, it's not like we're camped next to a haunted bridge where like 87 people died in a ferry accident.
So I'm really excited because we made it here.
To do it with her. Yeah.
Right around dark, and we are gonna break out our last remaining bottle of wine and have some pasta and watch the crossover episode of Star Trek with Lower Decks.
Just Star Trek. I'm going to strike a in the tent pose right now, but you do you.
Home sweet home for the night.
And it is almost 9 o'clock. It is 90 degrees and it is only 80% humidity. Yay. And it's sandy, and as a plus side, all the sand sticks to you because humidity. Supporting. Lift, separate, or don't!